Shut up.
I just wanted to say hi to
Shut up. Face the wall. Turn around. Turn around. What's the movement, sir? Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Yeah. And you weren't really sparring. You were fighting. We were fighting all the time. And just guys getting dropped all the time. And that was just the kind of gym that I was in.
But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
Joe Rogan responded to the rumors about Jake Paul allegedly being arrested for scripting boxing matches. Rogan made it clear that no achievement, spotlight, or career moment is worth risking someone's life. He strongly reminded listeners that boxing is a dangerous sport and should never be taken casually. According to reports, Rogan feels that Jake Paul needs to seriously rethink his choices before entering the ring again. Chasing fame or money through dangerous fights, he warned, can lead to consequences that last far beyond the spotlight. Joe Rogan repeatedly emphasized that boxing carries real risks, and continuing to fight without caution could result in severe physical harm. He also added that if a fighter becomes involved in illegal or scripted behavior, it could easily lead to serious legal trouble.
Because then you can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think. And
Nikisa Bidarian stepped forward to clearly state that neither Jake Paul nor anyone on his team did anything illegal or attempted to fix a fight. He directly addressed the rumors circulating online that claimed the match with Anthony Joshua was scripted, calling those claims completely false. Nikisa pointed out that some online posts went as far as suggesting there was an agreement that Joshua would not knock out Paul, which he described as shocking and untrue. He explained that Anthony Joshua fought honestly and decisively, without following any so-called agreement. Nikisa stressed that Jake Paul trained seriously, competed for real, and accepted genuine risks inside the ring. He also revealed that legal action is being pursued against people spreading these false claims. For Nikisa, setting the record straight is essential to protect the reputations of Jake Paul and his team, making it clear that the fight was legitimate, unscripted, and not fixed in any way.
Seen the script, rigged, this, that, and the other. Do you think now, at the very least, that talk goes away? Broke his jaw, went in there against Anthony Joshua. At the very least, do you think that you guys can move on from that? Like, that won't follow you?
No, I don't. I actually, our lawyers are actively going after a number of people. One who claims to be a lawyer himself online. I don't remember the name or the handle, but it was something that had like 200,000 likes. And basically this post said there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake, but AJ disregarded the agreement and decided to not get his payday, but knock out Jake Paul. So it's pretty astonishing what people say. Your dear friend Lou DiBella, saw him put up a bunch of ridiculous things and even said, Nikisa, go ahead and sue me, but this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
And so for the people, again, just to clear this up, because I asked Eddie this question, I'll ask you the exact same question. Once and for all, was there any sort of arrangement as far as it should go this many rounds? Because that's the one that I've heard. Oh, Anthony agreed to 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Can you tell us in black and white if there were any talks of any kind between the network, the promotion, the fighter?
There has never once in Jake Paul's career been any talk of that sort, of anything to do with the fight being anything but a real fight that has exactly the same situation as any professional fight. And that's exactly the same thing here for the Anthony Joshua fight. It's just beyond mind-blowing that people would think that. Anthony Joshua was on record saying that if he didn't finish him in the first round, that would be disappointing, that it would be a failure. The narrative changed as we got closer to fight night and obviously post-fight, and I understand why, but they were pretty adamant it would take max 2 rounds.
Joe Rogan stated that it would take a maximum of 2 rounds to knock out Jake Paul. He repeated that it would take a maximum of 2 rounds to knock out Jake Paul. Rogan reminded audiences that he had already warned Jake Paul not to attempt anything reckless like this again. He strongly advised Paul to think carefully before accepting high-risk boxing matches. Rogan emphasized once again that no career milestone is worth risking a person's life. He stressed that the dangers inside the boxing ring are very real, and that taking part in staged or overly dangerous fights for fame or money can lead to serious consequences. According to Rogan, safety and responsibility should always come first for any fighter. Because here's the thing.
Look at all them celebrities like dude from the Mighty Ducks, the little boy actor that got strung out on drugs. And all his fronts and all his teeth were missing from being on meth or whatever, you know what I mean, whatever drug of choice he was on. There's no coming back from that. The people who like dissipate their teeth through drug usage, you don't get like a second set. So if I'm not mistaken, the dude from Mighty Ducks, somebody like he's been clean and they gave him a makeover and he has like pretty much fake teeth. So yeah, the teeth are going to be cooked. Now, I agree with the other part that Rogan was saying, but let's keep going.
I think he went into that fight knowing that was probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it and that he could do well for a little bit.
Yeah, and I've already expressed my thoughts on this. I'm not giving no props for a person who says I am a real deal boxer because I went in and get smashed and got my jaw broken, but I lasted longer than Ngannou. But I was crazy enough to try. Because, to be honest, we're way past the honeymoon stage with a person like Jake Paul. You've been in this for long enough to go through fight camps, dedicate your time, effort, energy, money, spar with people. You spar with some quality names because you have resources and money or whatever. So we're well past that to the point where you just get credit for stepping in. You maybe got credit your first fight or whatever, first couple of fights, for coming from your background and, you know, stepping in and fighting, but we're well past that. You have a box rec. You were being ranked by sanctioning bodies.
Eddie Hearn offered a detailed and thoughtful breakdown of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, focusing on the planning and strategy behind every move. He explained that the fight unfolded exactly as intended, with Joshua's team choosing patience and controlled pressure instead of reckless aggression. The strategy was to gradually challenge Jake Paul, expose weaknesses, and test his non-elite boxing fundamentals before delivering decisive punches. Hearn highlighted that this calm, structured approach represents true professional boxing, where success depends on discipline, timing, and smart decision-making rather than raw power alone. Each stage of the fight was carefully managed to maintain control while slowly establishing dominance. According to Hearn, this strategy not only secured the win, but also demonstrated the true art of boxing, where intelligence and precision separate seasoned fighters from novices.
He said before the fight, I'm going to break him down and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing, and actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mum said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
No, I was very sad because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef, and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round. So, no, I'll give Jake respect. And, sorry, Jake's mum doesn't like me, but if she can send me a free book.
Adam Catterall shared a direct and honest assessment of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, pointing to the growing imbalance in modern boxing when popularity drives matchups. He argued that Jake Paul's rapid rise has far more to do with his social media fame and celebrity image than with deep technical skill or ring experience. According to Catterall, even while holding back his full power, Anthony Joshua showed outstanding control, timing, and accuracy. His punches caused real damage and clearly revealed the gap in class between the two fighters. This contrast fueled speculation that parts of the fight may have been influenced by factors outside pure competition. Rumors circulated that Jake Paul may have tried to manage the pace of the fight to reduce danger and protect his image. Catterall's comments highlight how celebrity-driven boxing events can blur competitive integrity, shifting focus away from skill, strategy, and the traditional values of professional boxing.
Own credibility, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that he landed, it's not his best punch, his most powerful punch, right? Yep. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is. But I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, Athletic Commissions, like you said.
It wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize
yes.
fight. It was an event. If Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his... Because
yeah, it's a professional boxing.
Do you know what? If I was Anthony Joshua, I would be saying, I don't want that on my record. But for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, no, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight. And I found it, I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near is his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like...
Beat Jake Paul.
Well, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion, it's a very prestigious thing to.
Sam Jones gave an open and unfiltered reaction to the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. He said the match was difficult to watch, not because it was brutal, but because of the obvious technical weaknesses on display. Jones noted that Jake Paul struggled with basic boxing fundamentals, including defense, footwork, and reacting to Joshua's combinations at the right time. These repeated mistakes created a clear imbalance throughout the fight and exposed the difference in experience and skill. Some observers felt certain moments looked almost rehearsed, as if the action was guided to avoid serious danger. While acknowledging Jake Paul's training efforts, Jones suggested that the mismatch in ability, combined with rumors of controlled pacing, made the fight feel uncomfortable. The bout highlighted the risks of mixing celebrity status with professional level boxing, where entertainment can overshadow authenticity and leave fans questioning the legitimacy of the competition.
Knocking out and breaking Jake Paul's jaw. Just talk to me right now about the fight itself and then we'll break it down.
Bit of a crap fight, if we're all honest. It was like watching Jaws 2 when all the kids went out on their boats and they were in the middle of the sea and the shark was just surrounding the boat, just like that's what it was like. It was just like it was like a shark circling its prey and just like it was like nibbling and eventually got him. But Jake Paul showed big plums in there, no matter what anybody says about him, because I've seen people say, yeah, he went in there to survive. Yeah, okay, he went in there to survive. He's a guy that's been boxing a couple of years against a unified champion of the world who can really punch. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best fight. It just wasn't the best thing to watch, was it? Like it was just it weren't great. I just want to see now Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. I think at the stages of their careers they're at, AJ and Tyson Fury, we don't need to see interim fights, Andrew. We don't need to see interim fights because they're just potential banana skins. We want to see two of the best heavyweights of this era going at it. And
following the fight, Luke Thomas became one of the most critical voices in the discussion that followed. He challenged the praise Jake Paul received and argued that stepping into the ring with a world-class boxer like Anthony Joshua should not be applauded without careful examination. Thomas said the spectacle surrounding the event distracted from the real dangers involved. He pointed out that Paul's confidence before the fight, along with certain actions inside the ring, matched ongoing rumors that parts of the bout may have been planned. Thomas warned that celebrating fights like this sets a risky example, blurring the line between entertainment and genuine athletic competition.
Kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make a point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. People were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and that this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches, partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally tripping over himself, and he realized he just can't keep this up. So there was that. But people were acting like, how could this be? How could this have happened? Guys, on Friday's MK, and then before that, earlier in the week on Submission Radio, they asked me on Submission Radio, how do you think he's gonna fight? And I'm like, he's gonna run. And they're like, you don't think he's gonna clinch? I'm like, okay, he'll clinch at times, but then the rest of the time, he's going to run. what other way was this going to go?
Chael Sonnen delivered strong criticism of the match, saying fights like this are far too dangerous to happen under normal conditions. He described the bout as feeling less like a traditional boxing match and more like a fight for survival, where both physical safety and reputation were on the line. Sonnen emphasized that inexperienced fighters facing elite professionals put themselves in extremely dangerous situations. He added that the rumors of scripting involving Jake Paul only make these matchups more troubling. According to Sonnen, blending celebrity culture with professional sport threatens the integrity of boxing while placing fighters at unnecessary risk. Analysts noticed that Jake Paul appeared unusually cautious at times during the fight. While some viewed this as smart defense, others felt certain moments seemed carefully arranged to allow Joshua to dominate without extreme danger. These observations aligned with rumors that Paul may have tried to influence the pacing to protect himself while keeping the event entertaining.
That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there, and he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition, and then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. He was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting. These guys were Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through, not even kill its prey, just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me. It was a very good competition. I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua can't get him out of there in one round. Dave Portnoy had made a comment before the fight. He said, I like Jake. I wish well for Jake. Of course I'm taking Joshua. And then Portnoy made his point. And he said, because I believe in boxing. This isn't if I'm cheering for Jake or if I think that Joshua is more experienced or better. I believe in boxing. I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion.
That's all for today. Like, subscribe to Boxing World, and share the video.